Hello, everyone. The Goal Guy here. Today's episode features the perspectives of my dear friend, Mr. Elliot Wise, founder of Wise AI, and Gary Tiroler, the man behind 13 restaurants and a longevity clinic. Expect strong insights on business, health, and long-term success. Let's dive in together. And as always, like, follow, and step up.
So the good thing about Dubai is, as you said, there is no request which can't be serviced. Whereas we were having conversations about staff in the UK, and we seem to have, whatever reason, developed an allowance of average, like lackluster. And you were even making excuses for these people. I'm like, no. We need animals.
Yeah.
But it's culturally, you speak to a builder, an architect in the UK, and they're like, I want this. It's like, well, unless it's a completely square box with a normal shaped roof, we can't do it.
Yeah.
You go to Dubai and it's like, I want a gold encrusted 180-degree arch with this. No worries. Just as long as the money's there, it gets done.
Yeah.
But it filters down for leadership though. Like, think about the leadership in Dubai.
Yeah.
There was nothing here 7 years ago. Oh, we're going to build the best first world city in the world. Compare that to the leadership in the UK. They make every single excuse and then make it okay to be mugged and
Well, Gary,
warn you.
here's the thing, right? If your government changes every 4 to 8 years,
Yeah.
right? If you're constantly battling, if you're constantly doing feasibility studies, I love the word feasibility, don't you? Feasibility studies. It's like a way, let's just spend a lot of money figuring out, let's take 4 years to actually figure this shit out, and by the time you figured it out, the other guys have come into power and they fucking scrap your project because feasibly it doesn't align with their feasibility studies on your feasibility study.
But it takes longer to actually disimplement the mess that's been implemented.
Right.
Yeah, so what's happening?
Because it's not feasible anymore from another person's perspective. Don't you love that word? Just feasibility. Feasibility. Say it with me. Come on, Elliot. Feasibility. Say it. Feasibility. Fucking feasibility.
But then it comes down to the question that like monarchies then will always supersede a democracy, or the perceived democracy, in essence. Or is there any efficient democracy in the world?
Is there any official democracy?
Efficient democracy
No.
in the world.
Fascist dictators.
Yes.
Yes. They're
Like-
efficient.
Yeah, they're.
Why are you leaving, Aaron? Or can I say that?
Yeah, no, I think there's a lot of reasons, but the main reasons are safety and security for the kids. And I think the only thing, money aside, what matters, it's quality of life and lifestyle. And I personally believe there's lack of things to do in the UK. Like, I won't go to London with the family and the kids. It's an unnecessary trip to put them in that position. Here, I mean, you do what you want, whenever, as you said before, do what you want when you want.
Do you think, though, that the opportunity that's arisen from the fact that we now have a relatively global network, notwithstanding Starmer's desperate approach to try and keep everybody in the UK, it's actually made people more unhappy? Because it's something I ponder all the time, is why is a dog always so happy? Because they don't act as though they have options, they act reactively. They're not preemptively thinking about all the things that can happen.
Yeah.
And I always liken it back to, you know, when you used to watch TV, there was 4, possibly 5 channels, and you knew on a Sunday afternoon a film would come on. And whatever film that was, you'd watch it because that was the only one that was on. The minute you have Netflix, I don't know about you, but I have a world of films. I have one of those sticks as well where I can watch whatever I want.
Those are illegal.
No, I
you
don't
can't
have
talk about that. You don't have that.
I don't have that.
Wink, wink.
No, no,
You pay your
no.
TV. You pay your TV.
I pay my
license.
TV license.
Yeah. Of course.
But
Stand down.
we spend quite often, because one of my favourite pastimes to wind down is watching a movie. We'll spend an hour searching for a film.
Easily.
Get pissed off that
You've got nothing.
Nothing
There's
on
nothing
here,
to
right?
watch.
There's nothing on here. There's billions of films, and then the one we pick, I end up moving halfway through because I'm like, that's probably a better one. So the opportunity cost of knowing there's other options makes me more unhappy if I'm not aware of it. So I quite often contemplate this with the UK. Yes, it is going down the Swanee at the moment. It is not being run well. People are genuinely not happy. But the minute I know I can go over here, it bugs the shit out of me. Because it's very hard to accept what you know you can change. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but there has to be a framework around that making you aware that that's saying the grass is always greener, but people need to be very careful of that.
Yeah.
Because that can be, opportunity I think can be one of the biggest causes of depression. And the more abundance we have, we get paralysis and unhappiness, always wondering whether or not we made the right choice.
Yeah. Paralysis by analysis is the phrase, I believe.
But even if you do make the decision to take action, it's then, should I have gone for that? Did I make the right decision? You're pondering. You're not actually present with the decision you've made, trying to make it better. So you spend more time asking what ifs rather than how to make this better.
You have to,
And that's a very dangerous game to play. And I think people will always, unless they become aware of that, be forever unhappy, because the minute you come to Dubai, 10 years time, what if another country pops up? What if something else comes around? And I'm not saying it's not a bad decision, it's just we have to also make decisions with that frame in mind.
Yeah.
And we have to be very aware of that.
Don't you think inherently, especially men, but humans in general, are programmed, we're designed to always want more. So anything we don't have, if something else that comes around that is better, so right now Dubai is better in terms of safety with a lot of the parameters that we choose for our families, right? That's why most people are flocking here.
Yeah.
I think on the flip side, though, a lot of people in the UK are they're taught to not take risk, and they are happy just to go to work and be on that loop. Whereas they're too scared, they're anxious, they'd come up with a million reasons to not go, but there is only one reason to go.
Right.
Not to live with that regret of not going.
Right. Gary, one little qualification there. I think if you polled everybody in Dubai that is from the UK, you would ask if it's better or if it's best. They would say best.
Yeah.
It's the best option, right? There's not a better option, and I'm reminded this every time I go back and I visit, my family back in Canada. You go out with your family, you go for a nice dinner, come home, put your kid to bed. You're enjoying the rest of the night. You want a little nightcap, or maybe you didn't eat enough, or maybe whatever. You're hungry for something. Well, guess what? Nothing's open. Uber Eats closes at 10, and then there's no restaurants that are open, and then there's nothing else that you can do. You can't go to the grocery store. You can't get anything. No more services. Everything is closed. Dubai at 4 o'clock in the morning, you feel like a cheeseburger because you had too much whiskey. Maybe it happened to us once or twice. I'm not gonna name any names as to who had the too much whiskey. But you need a 4 a.m. cheeseburger. Well, even McDonald's doesn't deliver on Uber Eats because it's fucking closed in Canada. Here you get anything you want, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Even open on goddamn Christmas, and I love goddamn Christmas hamburgers. I don't know about you, but I fucking love them.
Can't say they've had any, mate.
Really?
Question.
Yeah.
Sorry, Karen.
I was going to say, let's go down the rabbit hole here,
Let's
because
go.
I always love to test this theory.
Let's go.
I believe often humans say we need this, that's why we're going to choose this. But if we biologically look at what humans have had access to for 99.9999% of our entire existence, it was never a grocery store open at 4 a.m.
100%.
So, what I say, with the frustration of being in Europe when stores are closed on a Sunday, it's reprogramming your nervous system to say, well,
I have to do it
maybe
on
we
Wednesday.
were designed not to be going 24/7. Now, can you get ahead of the game being 24/7? Of course, you can build empires, for sure. Does that come, do we get a negative consequence when we get into that frame of mind? It's a question.
Yes, if you don't anticipate that. So my wife and I have had great discussions about bringing our kids to Dubai at a young age. So my eldest is about to turn 6, our youngest is 4. And I said to her, if our boys grow up in this environment and we don't train the comfortability out of them, they won't be able to operate in the rest of the planet.
Fair.
It is a utopian convenience that is in Dubai, which has made life so comfortable and so easy that it's going to generate a lot of very weak people. And I say that respectfully, if there isn't an awareness of that and the work ethic and drive and desire to be instilled. Imagine you were born here.
Sure.
And you thought that you could go to the gym, you could go on an app and have someone come and fill up your car while you're in the gym
Fucking epic.
and leave the air conditioning on because no one's going to steal your car. The minute you walk into London, you're walking out with probably not even your boxers, right?
Yeah.
You will get destroyed. And what you see with, as you rightly said, countries that develop this technology, this convenience, this efficiency, build very big empires. But then you get the hungry dogs at some point chomping, and those motherfuckers know pain and sacrifice.
Well, let me ask
Which
you
is
something.
okay.
Well, let me ask you something. Are we not those hungry dogs?
Yes.
Are we not here because of this and because of that convenience and because we have access and we are 24/7? We don't take days off. We don't take time off. We can go all morning, go all night, nonstop, even have the whiskeys. Not that I condone having excess whiskeys because that's not cool. Except when it's us, then it's cool. Keep going all night, get the 4 a.m. cheeseburger, be back at the fucking podcast station at 6 a.m. and keep grinding and fucking
And that's
keep going.
us.
That's us.
But you're bringing kids. You want to bring your
My
son
son.
here more regularly.
Yeah.
If I brought my 2 sons, they're going to have a very different upbringing. So,
If you allow it, yes.
This has been discussed.
Yes.
you would argue, and we've spoken this historically, history gives us a pretty good prediction of what's going to happen in the future.
Absolutely.
Right? That's been proven over and over again.
Over and again.
History proves that. Now, if you look at every great empire, every great civilization, the moment at which it became too easy, things started to crumble. So, with that in mind, will Dubai do anything about that?
I do think there's a flip side to this though. I grew up, like you probably did, on the bike after school. I knew to come home when the street lights went on. I had to come home. So I grew up streetwise. I knew what I could do, what I couldn't do. My kids, I'd never let them go out on the bike. They're never going to become streetwise living in the UK because parents don't let their kids go out now. Whereas here, okay, they don't need to be streetwise, but as a parent and a father, I get to teach them the stuff that I learned. And I get the point, and it's something that's been discussed very heavily at home. The example, having a maid here is normal. Wouldn't have that in the UK personally, but here that enables things to be done around the house that actually enable Hannah and I to have more quality time together. Not to bring the kids up, because I disagree with that personally, as you said, but it's about us having our quality time and buying our freedom back. So,
But I'm talking more about the long-term impacts of
From
such
the
a
kids.
lovely life.
Yeah.
Because it is lovely here.
It's
like
soft.
I even find myself becoming, even when I go back to the UK now, I'm like, fucking, why isn't it open now?
Yeah.
I can't get Iranian food at this time of day.
Yeah.
Like, oh, there isn't any Iranian restaurants in the local 50-mile radius.
So basically, you're
Oh, my car's been nicked.
Yeah.
Oh,
well, you won't be looking at your watch, that's for sure.
I can't wear it.
No. So,
Big
so,
bag.
so you're leery for your prodigy of a soft luxury life. You don't want them to get hooked into that. Right?
It's not just that. I'm talking about if I'm going to invest in a country, I want that country to thrive the whole time I'm there, not what's happened to the UK. Potentially with changing in the future. But the point being is you need to put frames in place to actually consistently keep that empire growing now because it's generational.
Okay, so let's touch on a topic that's near and dear to my heart, right? Let's break down the degeneration, right, of society, and let's say the West, right, has broken down. What major factor or what decision that was made for the people, for us, that you think contributed into the breakdown of that society? Personally speaking, as soon as they made it easy to break up the family home, for myself personally, you saw a direct link from the degradation of where it was to where it is. 1950s was very different than 2000. 2000 and 2025 is also very different. You're looking at a 75-year gap. The family home was a unit in 1950. Your TV shows were mom stayed home, dad came home from work, food was on the table, the kids were prim and proper at the table waiting for dad. That was life. Should we go back to that? Do we go back to that? How do we go back to that? I'll leave that up to you guys. What do you think? Does my comment make any sense?
I 100% believe because I went to a really powerful school in South Africa. So like where the UK is right now, that's where I was 15, 20 years ago. That's why I left South Africa. So you guys talk about like things getting nicked. It's like I still check to see if my car door is locked when I'm in Dubai because it's habit. Because they've got car jammers in South Africa. So like as you lock in the car, they car jam it so they can come nick your car.
They just stab you in London.
Fair enough. They shoot you in South Africa. But I 100% believe it's up to the 0.0001% of courageous, brave individuals like literally us sitting at this table now, to be very vocal about it. Now, I understand you have to be intentional about how to be vocal in the UK because of what's happening in the UK. But things don't change unless there's leadership leading from the front on the front lines. And if we're just going to cave into the conveniences and luxuries of Dubai without taking on the responsibility of openly speaking about it, we are just perpetuating that circle of
Accepting defeat?
feeding into, as a subsidiary effect, emasculating the men that have already been demasculated in the Western world. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I feel like there's so much more opportunity here. People generally want to help. Like in the UK, people don't seem to want to introduce people and stuff like that. Here, people just want to help each other. They'll introduce you to their friend. They don't say do business. They'll just introduce. People just want to help and see the greatness. And you'll walk in the lift. You'll talk to someone in the lift, and just be normal. What I would say is normal. And just to touch back on the kids stuff, I think it's really important. The education system here is what it should be in the UK. So they're not teaching LGBTQ and all that stuff. So that's very strong about that here. They don't encourage it. They don't talk about it. And that's what our education was when we were growing up. We weren't taught that it was normal to have two mums and stuff like that. So I think there's pros and cons for everything though, definitely.
Oh, don't waffle. Fucking say it like it is, or don't say it at all.
I love what Dubai offers. I didn't go to private school. I went to state school. In Dubai, I don't think there is state schools, is there? Don't think so.
In Dubai?
Not if you're an immigrant.
Right.
Yeah, so you have to go to private school here.
It's like return schooling back to how it was. I mean, did you guys have sex ed when you were at school? And it was just like normal heterosexual
Normal,
sex
yeah.
ed?
Yeah, no, we had the video of the birds and the bees and
The banana and the
Yeah.
condom?
Yeah.
Like literally.
My secondary school's still going, and there was an article that got shared. So I'm 33, so when I was there, it was great. They just had nothing wrong with this. They had a transgender person, I don't know, he, she, whatever it is, went to that school and done a whole talk to the students, encouraging them that if they need to come out as this, they can. Whereas when I grew up, if the kids found that as their thing, then that's fine, but they weren't given an option at 10 years old. If they naturally find that they're gay, bi, trans, and I believe that's okay. They've found that themselves. They haven't been given an option saying you're either 1, 2, 3, or 4.
Programmed.
Yeah, and that's exactly it now. It's the manipulation.
Well, how do you know they weren't programmed into thinking that it was okay for them to do that? What about programming them to think that's not okay? Right?
Yeah,
Why
No, I agree
is it
with you.
okay? Like, how do you make a decision that, no, I was born with the wrong equipment, let me change it?
Yeah.
So you don't get a reset. Fuck, you're born. This is what it is.
No, I agree with that, obviously.
I changed my mind. Nope. I know better than...
You've only got to
whomever.
look at the stats now, right? You can see how many more millions of people are finding themselves
They're finding themselves.
because they're being given options.
They needed a dad to give them a fucking beating upside the head. That's what they needed.
And that comes down to the lack of masculinity in the UK and strong parenting.
Listen, on a side note, I got to segue into a school story that I have for my son, who you guys know is autistic.
Yeah.
I get very fired up about this topic, so I apologize in advance if I get a little heated, if I get red in the face, if I swear once or twice. So I apologize to my brothers in advance. My son, who is the most beautiful kid. Well, you've spoken to him. He's a lovely kid, great soul. Said to me, Dad, I spoke to my teacher, and my teacher said that I'm gonna go work at the grocery store and put food inside of a bag. I said, well, as a summer job, as a part-time job. I said, that's okay. She said, no, Daddy, it's something that, this is what I'm going to do in my life. I'm going to help people and put groceries in bags. I'm like, well, Daddy has a company, right? Daddy owns a company. He goes, yeah. He goes, what's Daddy's company's name? He goes, Aluka. I said, that's right. And you know whose name is in the company, right? He goes, yeah, Daddy, it's me and you. I said, okay, so you're a boss of the company. You're the little boss. Daddy's the big boss, but you're the little boss of the company. He goes, I'm a boss? So what do you mean you're the boss? Of course you're a boss. You're the little boss of the company. So he looks at me and we're on FaceTime. He looks at me and goes, Dad, well, how can I how can I bag groceries? He goes, exactly. How could you bag groceries? This is not for you. This is for other people. Other people can bag groceries. You're a little boss. Just remember who you are. You're a little boss. Okay, Dad, I'm a little boss. He went to school the next day, argued with the teachers, said, no, my dad says I'm a little boss. I'm a little boss. That's the way it is. Too effing bad. I was pretty proud of that, to be honest with you. And my ex-wife gets a call from the principal saying, your son now has a head this big, telling everyone he's a little boss. I got into a fight with my ex-wife. You can't tell him that. Oh my God, everybody's freaking out. Now his head is like this. You got to tell him, no, it's okay. He can do this. I said, okay, no problem. I said, let me speak to the principal. I'm going to speak to the principal. She goes, oh, what are you going to say to the principal? Don't worry about it. It's okay. I'm gonna have the conversation. Don't worry about it. I'll do it. She goes, I'm going to be on the call. Okay, fine. You set it up, but I'm going to be talking to the principal. She says, no problem. Speak to the principal. My first words out of my mouth. If you fucking tell my son ever again he's going to bag groceries, trust me, I'm coming to the school. I'm going to fucking light it on fire. I will burn all you motherfuckers to the ground. I will fucking go absolutely apeshit. Telling my son, putting a limit on my son, putting a limit on anybody's son, I will light the fucking school on fire, and I will not stop. Alex, it's Miss Gray. I was your principal when you were a teenager. My apologies. You're absolutely correct. Nobody will be telling your son what he can and can't do. Thank you very much, Miss Gray. Have a wonderful day. Click. My ex-wife calls me back. She says, I should have known better. Just fucking let you handle it. Yeah, thank you very much. That's my story. Teachers have no fucking business telling anybody or anybody's children who they are, what they can be, what they can't be, no matter what.
I think a lesson
When it comes to LGBTQ, this and that, I want to fucking shit Easter eggs because I'm the Easter Bunny. I want to identify as the Easter Bunny.
You identify as a gold bar, no?
No, I'm the Gold Baron. I'm
Just
better.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay, rant over. I apologize.
Very good. And I think it's amazing that your son felt okay to tell you. Because imagine how many kids wouldn't have that conversation with their parents and then they become limited by that belief that's been ingrained into them at a young age. Because once these barriers are up, they're very hard to break down.
I admire very much the fathers that are here with me because I know you guys would have done the same.
100%. But imagine how many kids don't do that. And the parents don't know about it and they can't instill them values at a young age. And that child does genuinely believe for 10 years that that's all he can amount to.
But you said that it's the teacher has no business applying limitations to your son.
Agreed.
Well, in fact, that is the entirety of their job role, conducted by the system,
Right.
to create caps and limiting beliefs so that everybody stays in line.
Pawns.
There's a reason that the elites don't go to the same schools as all of the other people, because they're being groomed to think bigger. Do you think the major families on planet Earth get told there's limits? Now, I don't also want to give my children belief systems which are outside of what I would deem to be rational. I'm the same. If someone said to me, Elliot, you're going to be a trillionaire. Probably not, because I don't actually have right now, I would say no, because I don't have a path to get there. You're going to be a billionaire. Yes, I know how to get there. Kids as well. My aspirations are fucking enormous compared to the average human being, but they're still backed by rational thoughts.
Yeah.
I've never been I'm a dreamer, but I'm a rational dreamer.
Not a daydreamer.
Not a daydreamer.
Yeah.
And I still keep my kids in check with that, but I'm like, you will be running the world, running the country, running a massive company, exactly like that. But
Elliot, you're a visionary, not a dreamer. There is a
visionary.
big difference.
But what
between
you
the two.
said to your son is not incorrect, because you didn't just say, oh, son, you will be whatever you want to be, which there isn't a problem with that. But you actually said, here's the business you're going to inherit. Can't really argue with that. So in his mind, that's completely rational, which is why he then went in and said, no, I'm going to be doing this. My name's in the company.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And I said to myself, because programming is very real, and you can do it positively or negatively. And it's amazing, and this is why it's so damaging if you give kids the wrong information, but it's amazing how positively you can influence your children if you just understand some basic psychological fundamentals.
Yeah.
So with my children, and the biggest problem we have in humans today is that they don't have accountability and they don't have respect for their lineage. So, Wise. My surname is something that I make sure that I put everywhere as a logo, so it reminds me and my children, most importantly, to remember my surname, and everything that I do is accountable to my name and also anyone associated with my name. My children will inherit and have inherited my surname. I have 2 wonderful boys, but I don't know if you were there the other day. So my son booted out of my office, absolutely slapped the floor, and I was like, that hurt. He gets up, he goes, I was like, did it hurt? You go, no, Daddy, I'm a Wise. Good.
I'm real.
That's awesome.
Daddy, I'm a Wise. And then he like switches off. And then I say to my eldest son, so when I'm away, Morgan, you're the eldest Wise. So do you know what that means? I said, you're a responsibility to your mother and your younger brother. When I'm absent, you don't take that role. Yes, he's 6, and I'm not making him militarily like around, but he goes around with my wife. They check the doors are locked. He stays in my bed, like on my side of the bed, and he says, Daddy, when you're away, that's where I sleep. Brilliant. I'm the man of the house. I'm like, yeah, responsibility. I'm like, and then when I phone him up, I say, Morgan, how's the family? Daddy did great. I'm looking after them.
Love that.
But I've already got him thinking about the responsibility to his surname. And then a lot of fucking wokey parents would be like, oh, you can't put that kind of pressure on your kids. I'm like, try not giving a framework to a kid and then put them under pressure and watch them fail.
Yep.
The parenting with a boy and a girl is so different.
And look, everyone's got an opinion on parenting. Everyone has been parented or hasn't been parented, so they've had some form of parenting or lack of, so they understand the impacts of parenting. But I'm going on what I see work, I go on what I see other people have done with their kids, and I like that output. And I think as soon as a kid has an accountability to his surname, because this is what all the aristocracy do. A friend of mine, I'm not say his name, first time I went to his house, he gave me a book of all of the firstborn sons in their family, going back to like 1750. And the pride he had, and also the pressure and accountability he had to do well. Even though they were very wealthy, that's how the wealthy maintain that level of drive and hunger. And it's not for more money, it's the accountability they have to their fucking surname and everyone that came before them, because they're constantly reminded. They walk around the house and there's portraits of their ancestors.
Looking at them.
Yeah, and this book had a bio and everything they'd achieved. It's like, okay,
Now it's
what are you doing now?
Yeah.
And not only that, you've had the privilege of being born into this. You weren't the first.
No.
So now you've got a springboard.
And you can't be the last.
And the pressure that they have because of it is what keeps their family name going.
Fuck, amen, man.
Very clever.
I don't often get jealous.
Yeah.
And I'm not jealous in a negative way. I look at my sons and I think, God damn, if I had me as a mentor growing up, and I say that humbly, if someone that understood my brain, that understood
They say
the world and the nuances of it, I'm trying to help. So whenever you want to get a human to do something, you either force them into it or you try to get them to come to their own decision that's actually what they want to do. Those are the two variables for getting someone to take action. Now, with your kids, and this is why the surname is so important, as soon as you create an accountability, they in their own mind want to do it. It's not you're forcing them to do it. And it's constructing that framework so that they don't despise you for beating on them all the time. Every now and then you can pull them up. But if you're constantly the hammer, you run the risk, depending on the individual,
you give them
of
a purpose.
pushing back.
Yeah.
So I always try to lead with the ideology of trying to make the people want to do the work, not forcing them to do the work. Because then you get so much more discretionary effort. You know that it's going to be functioning when you're not there. You are building an incentive structure for growth. And culturally, the upper class and the elites have been doing that since the dawn of time. They understood that principle. And it's a shame that more people don't do it. And it's not hard, and it's like you don't have to be an elite. I think it just yields a happier home environment. And back to your original point with regards to this coming out and finding yourself, kids don't have an identity because they've been stripped of it by the parents and the system.
Yeah.
So they're seeking something.
Yeah.
And they grab onto the first thing that's dangled in front of them because they do have a void. And it wasn't the fact that they had the wrong gender. I would bet my life on it.
It's a sense of being part of something, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a movement.
It's a movement. And I feel deeply saddened that kids are feeling that lonely and lacking identity. And that's the problem. An identity crisis is what it is.
I completely agree.
And it's caused by a complete dilution of information, a complete lack of knowledge of where they're going. And the other problem is social media. And by the way, social media is a tool, as is money, as are drugs. They are only negative if they're used incorrectly by the people that are using them. So you cannot make an excuse for social media. Social media could be a force for good, or it could be an absolute catastrophe for chaos. Now, social media, what it is doing is it's creating an identity crisis in that we are, if you go back through history, we're very tribal. 300 years ago, the average life expectancy was like 36 globally, right? 300 years ago, right? That's how fast things are moving. Now, we were tribal, and men and women anchored their identity based on who they were in their tribes. So you would have pride in knowing that you were the blacksmith, or you were the medic, you were the teacher, whatever it was in that environment, because you had no outside world to compare to. So you had pride every day that was your job role, that was who you were, and that gave you purpose. The problem is now, if you're the local musician and you open up Instagram and you've been practicing all your life, and then there is some 2-year-old kid that is infinitely better than you, your identity and your purpose is quite quickly eradicated because you, as a human being, compare.
Yeah.
And we have this comparison methodology now, which is, where do I fit in? We have more connection than ever, but I don't know where I fit into that space either. I don't know what my skills are. I don't know. I was told I was special. Clearly not, because I know you have instant access to all of these comparisons, and it's very difficult, if not framed properly, for kids to see that and think, well, what's the fucking point?
What's the point of even trying if I'm not that good, or I'm not that special, or I'm not this, or I'm not that?
And then they become more susceptible to, you're going to pack groceries, you're going to do nothing with your life, you're going to go on the dole, life is over. You accept it, and then you fall in line with the rest of the great unwashed.
You get medicated, you get fucking put on painkillers or mood suppressants, and
let's lighten the mood.
But it's create with intention. So the same way if you're in the UK, because the UK is slightly dangerous at the minute, if you decide to live there as a family, you create safety for the family, right? The same way in Dubai, it's opposite. It's so safe. You can leave money on the beach. It won't be taken for days, weeks, forever, right? So the wealthy, the elites, you'll always see, they will send their boys to martial arts class, because otherwise life here is too cushy. So you have to always understand the opposite, I believe. It's alludes to what we were saying earlier. It's like, if you raise kids here, how do you create with intention so they can understand what it feels like to be hit, metaphorically, figuratively, whatever the case is, jabbed? You have to do it with intention.
Yeah.
And that's the parents' responsibility.
Yeah. You don't entrust your children to teachers. They're there to teach you to count, teach you to add, teach you to read, teach you all that stuff. Great. But parents are responsible for forming. You've got to make your child into your reflection, right? And if not your reflection, then better than your reflection, right? As a father, you can't give somebody something that you weren't given, right? You can't teach an expertise that you don't have, right? But as a man, is our job not to self-improve, to constantly challenge the status quo, to always be inquisitive, or to continuously learn, grow, improve, make yourself uncomfortable. And I think inherently it's that skill set to teach yourself to be grateful in that discomfort of life, to continuously improve, continuously strive for more or for better, right? If you have that at the very least, as a dad, if you're putting that or programming that, as you'd said, into your sons, I think at that point in time you're going to raise the toughest, most badassiest kids. They're going to run everything, because not for nothing. Whatever I see, I not for nothing. You guys are young guys, but you guys are men. You guys are young, fucking awesome men. But most guys your age are pussies. And I fucking take them to school every fucking day. I am 51, but most guys your age, no offense to your age group, but they're fucking pussies. You guys know that. You're not competing on a fair fair field with guys your age. You're so far fucking advanced, and I'm so grateful and humbled to know you guys, all of you, right? But generally, they're all fucking pussies. I take them to school every day, and I love that. You guys are the exception, and you actually what gives me hope for the future. You really do. You really do, and I'm grateful to be associated and working with you guys because you're talented, you're fucking smart, you're awesome, and God bless you guys because really, truthfully, I love you. Sorry, I had to put that out there.
And what about Gary?
Well, Gary's okay.
I like doing experiments with the kids. So like things that they're like not test dummies, but I like doing things like, okay, let's see if I can see what way their brain's working.
Yeah, I throw mine off the balcony and see how high I can throw them before they break.
I've not done that, but like certain things. It's fun. It's fun testing that their minds are so amazing at that age. But most people stop learning. They go to education. I don't agree with the schooling system and all of it, but everyone stops learning at the age of 20. There's very few people that actually do self-development and actually want to better themselves. And the brain becomes so stagnant, and you can learn stuff so quickly with the internet.
Brother, I learned everything about
How
the business
important
at
is
45.
the mother you pick to raise your kids?
Ooh, everything. It's the single most important decision you make in your life.
And what do you look for? Why did you choose? Was it an active choice? Was it a mistake? Was it?
Mine's a funny story, which was meant to be. I went to Ibiza for one night, and I met a girl who was called Hannah, but I thought she looked like Shakira, so I nicknamed her that. Nothing happened. We came back. We found out we worked next to each other in London, and then the rest is history. But she stayed with me when I had zero, at least a rented smart car living at my dad's, and she bought into me and I bought into her, and we've been on that journey together. And I'll be the first to say I wouldn't be anywhere near where I am without her. And I think it's so important having that woman by your side, someone that believes in you, not just by your side, actually behind you as well. Not in that sense, but behind you, kicking you up the arse. And I think it's everything. And my mates say to me, "Oh, you're always away," but Hannah doesn't complain because she understands it. She knows it's for the family. I'm not here binging, partying. I'm not doing any of that. I'm here to better myself and build the best life for my family. And so, answer to your question, I think it's the most important decision you can make. And
Well,
you've got Hannah as well, right?
Yeah. Can I say something? Having met your missus, you've absolutely kicked over your cover. You've done very well, my friend. And I will say, as having met her, she is an incredibly strong, powerful woman. She's driven. She's ambitious. She is your perfect complement. Like all women, right? They have the propensity to fucking annoy the shit out of us because there's nobody that can get under your skin like a woman, especially as a masculine man, right? Nobody can get in that kitchen and fucking throw pots and pans around in there, right? They can. And, but with that being said, as far as partners go, excellent job, mate. I haven't had the pleasure of meeting your Hannah yet, but
It's not the same, Hannah.
your Hannah's pretty fucking spectacular.
One thing I will say that doesn't get spoken about enough is I think there needs to be a definition and an observation between a woman that is a good partner and a woman that is a good mother, because they don't always come hand in hand.
Okay.
Now, with the way the world has progressed, we have created an environment where women are much more entrepreneurial, they're much more career focused, and I actually don't have a problem with this. I'm quite advocating of that. However, what you may find, and what I've seen, and I've been with women before my wife, that are very driven, very powerful women, which I've always found attractive, but had absolutely no maternal side to them whatsoever. They would have been a perfect partner in terms of wealth creation and growth, but they had poor connections with their family, they didn't go and see their parents, and I find that for a woman very bizarre.
Yeah.
So for me, I was looking for, one, a very driven, strong woman, and that also had great family ties, had already been given a benchmark from their father and their mother that is extremely family orientated and focused, and they spoke very fondly of their family, they saw them regularly, they're texting them and phoning them every day. That was what I was looking for. I was lucky to find both, but I think you need to look at your priority and say, do I want a woman that's going to help me drive my business, or one that's a mother? In my case, I was blessed to find both. That's rare. But a lot of people think just because they found a really good woman for helping you grow a business, you'll end up with a business partner, not a great mother. And I've seen that happen, and it's something people just need to be aware of.
It's very hard to do both.
Very hard to do both. But it's something that people need to be aware of, because I think just because they found a powerful woman that's helping them make business and money, are they actually going to be the perfect mother for your kids? And then that also comes down to the question of what do you both want for your kids? And I hate social media at the moment where everyone's saying you should and shouldn't do this. I just ask me, what the fuck do you actually want? Do you both align with sending your kids off to boarding school? I'm not one to judge. That's okay. We didn't want that. So have a discussion with yourself, first and foremost, with what you want from your life, the kind of partner that would yield that result, then become the man deserving of finding that woman and generating that life. That's it. You can have what you want. And I'm not going to sit here and judge anyone on that. You just got to be very aware of what you want and don't jump into bed, so to speak,
Literally.
with the woman that isn't going to help you yield that. And also don't expect an amazing woman if you're not deserving of that woman yet.
Yeah, that's very important. You touched on something very important just now, about having a conversation with yourself first. Most people have really shit relationships with themselves.
Is that kind of like a drunk night out in Ibiza? When you, with Shakira?
Shakira, I don't
Shakira. Obviously played out, you got lucky.
But most people have really bad relationships with themselves.
Yes.
And that's, I think, greatness comes from within to start. And people don't focus on themselves. And it's like the gym thing, the training. You don't go necessarily to get a six-pack. It's about being better than yesterday.
I'll do both.
Both are great. It's about being better than yesterday and having that good relationship with yourself and being accountable to yourself and then to your children. I think you spoke about that yesterday, didn't you?
Listen, I work very hard on my keg, and I'm kind of
That's good.
Years of hard work.
work very hard. Very disciplined at it.
Everything leads back to the same point of understanding who you are, because with the values you set in your home, if you don't know who you are, you can't set that. So you can't even have a conversation with the teacher if you don't know who you are, right? So,
All right.
like everything we've discussed today, it comes down to one thing. It's like, who are you? And are you advocating for who you are?
It's your beliefs, isn't it?
Yeah.
People call it cold, but I've generated a lot of success in my life by applying business principles to domestic life. And people think love is some fucking crazy thing. And I'm like, great, it's an emotion, but it's not going to potentially yield a particularly long and fruitful relationship or life. Same with business and in life. If a business has no goals or has no North Star, doesn't know where it's heading, how can you hire the right people? How can you recruit the right things? How can you make the right business decisions to get to the point at which you want to with the business? Life is no different. If you're an employee walking into a business and you speak to the business owner and you go, "Hey Alex, I've joined the Luca group. What's the plan?" "I don't really know. We're making gold, and yeah, I think we want to get big." "Right. Welcome to the party. Let's hope that this amazing relationship just makes this as fruitful as we hope, and love will get us through. Our relationship will get us through." You'd be like, "Fuck off, mate. I'm gonna go find some. No, our goal is to get here. This is what we want to do. We want to dominate this." And then you get these very, very intelligent businessmen and women who go, "Right, let's get married," and they have no plans, they have no idea what they want from their life. And how can you set the criteria and the boundaries, as you said, not knowing those things? So before you even get into a relationship, if you don't know who you are and what you want, stay well clear, because you're playing Russian roulette. You might get lucky accidentally, but I'd much rather know the criteria and framework of what I want. And if I don't know what that is, that should be the number one priority. And then make the decision to find the woman, or first of all, become the man deserving of that woman, and then go and make it happen.
I love that line. I love that line. Become the man deserving of that woman is...
First.
Yeah, it's first.
Yeah.
I've never heard anybody say it in that way, and thank you. That's something I'm going to leave to Luca.
And I think that, well, I know that the problem with the red pill culture now is this whole toxic masculinity thing. You have a lot of guys that blame every other external reason for them not having the woman that they want, when in fact, a red pill guy talks about, "I'm the macho this, I make it happen." It's because you haven't become deserving of it yet. If you're not seeing those women, it's not because they don't exist, it's because they're not showing themselves to you. And rather than blame themselves, they're blaming others, which is the main reason for all of these issues with women, because they're blaming them. "Motherfucker, you told me you're the big macho man. It's on you, right?"
The same thing happens in the animal kingdom. Think of birds. The most aesthetically beautiful looking bird is the male, because because it has to attract the
Which
female.
nationality? Russian and Bulgarian.
No, seriously, the male has to attract the female of that species, and humans have forgotten that. We're animals at the end of the day, and it's like people just expect. It's this culture of expectation that I think that's the evil that is kind of infiltrating society.
Especially masculinity. Do you actually believe that there is such a thing as toxic masculinity, or do you think
What I
there
just
are
described,
toxic traits?
It's toxic masculinity is very unmasculine men posing as masculine men.
Would that have been described?
It's not toxic masculinity, it's disguised masculinity.
Okay, I like that. I like that a lot better.
But did that term exist 20, 30 years ago?
No, I think it was.
No, because we didn't have snowflakes
And we
trying
didn't-
to pretend that they're masculine and then giving masculinity a bad name.
We didn't have social media to.
Because you don't need to shout it from the rooftops. As we meet men all the time, and when they walk in the room, they don't have to say a lot. When you know that's a masculine guy. It just everything about his demeanor, his personality says it. He's not screaming it. He's not blaming the world. And also, to your point, I 100% believe that a woman will come to the level of a man. So if you have a culture of women that are declining in terms of the effort they put into themselves, it's almost definitely a byproduct of the fact that the level of men have dropped. They don't have to come up any higher, because as you said, that's the way the world works. Well, you want to believe it, it's factual. Women will come up to the level of a man. She doesn't have to try that hard because the men are just really low caliber. Of the average level will fall. Simply.
She knows that because she can see it on social
Yes.
media. So you know what I mean? So it's like it's a double effect there. It's like
There's a stat that came out recently because of social media. Something like one of the dating apps, I think it was a crazy stat, like 2% of men get 98% of the women.
But that's life.
Wild.
But that's a wild stat to actually, you
yeah.
kind of intuitively know it, but to
Yeah.
actually see it in stats,
Yeah.
that's how shit most men are.
have you seen a Pride of Lions?
What?
Really, a Pride of Lions. There's one main masculine lion with a big mane.
man.
I grew up in South Africa, and
Golden Lion.
Canadian hunk.
Stop it. Oh, stop it. No, I haven't seen but that's it was on Disney, yeah? Was it Disney?
Simba.
Yeah. What? No, was it an actual
The words.
Pride Alliance? Was it an actual thing on Disney?
No, I'm talking about like in real life. Like if you've gone on safari, I grew up going on safaris all the time. Like literally, I always link everything back to the animal kingdom. If you
okay,
go,
well-
And now that guy, that lions is hanging on your wall.
Yeah.
yeah, 100%.
Well, listen. Fuckers. But not, so speaking of
shit with the Greenpeace guys, yeah.
So speaking of nature shows, what I actually saw recently, there's been a trend recently in the lion space. I'm fascinated with nature. I love fucking lions, really do. Is that brothers now, because as a male lion, after your mane gets filled in and you're now I guess testosterone producing, or you're ready to have offspring yourself, the father kicks you out, makes you go do a walkabout, makes you go and experience life on your own. Because now you got to build your own, right? Okay, you've been under my protection for this long. Now fuck off, big boy, go. Right? Now you got to go see. You got to go test yourself against other male lions. Then you got to see what you're made of. Did I do a good job? Did I train you well enough to know? Time will tell, right? Now what's been happening is that, if there are more than one male lion, so brothers, right, multiple brothers from the same litter, now going out and hunting, and, the brotherhood aspect of this is now actually becoming a thing. So now when you had one male dominant lion with his pride, when he goes and faces the brotherhood, which is a segue into another topic of conversation, which is apropos for what we're talking about now, when you have that brotherhood and you have brothers next to you, it doesn't matter how big and strong that one lion is. When you have brothers around you that are also big and strong, how dangerous are you now? I think nature is evolving into where one man may be weak all by himself, maybe a bunch of brothers who are like-minded can actually turn around and change the world.
Do you know that there was the longevity study? It's one of the longest ongoing health studies that has ever been recorded on the blue zone. So the blue zones, there's 5 zones in the world that are the longest living communities in the world, right? Sardinia is one. There's one in Greece and California. Subsection.
Nick would probably argue Bulgaria as well.
Maybe Bulgaria. The biggest stats that showed longevity was community, strong bonds to community, over the age of, it was either 45 or 50. So most people start separating.
It comes back to purpose again, doesn't
Yeah.
it?
Well, they've also just launched or released the biggest health study of all time ever. They've been following people at 80 odd years. The
Yeah.
biggest American health study ever, where they were looking at the attribution to life variables to longevity. The number one biggest proponent to longevity was social network.
Yeah,
outside of
study.
it's outside of food, outside of weather, outside of health, fitness, training, your relationships. Number one
is that-
had the biggest effect on lifespan.
Is that from what comes around being positive people?
For whatever it is, we need connection and we need people around us to survive longer. So you can take that for what you want, but at the deepest of levels, it's relationships have the biggest impact on longevity across the board. Statistically proven with the biggest health study ever.
That means you guys are fucked because now I'm 51 and I'm going to be around you guys.
Grumpy bastard. for the
Busting
next-
your arm for the next 30 years. You guys are fucked.
It's funny, they tried to take that away from people in COVID,
Yeah.
didn't they?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, of course.
They successfully did for a better part of a year.
Well, think how good you feel when you're with people, with brothers, right? And how terrible you feel or drained you feel when you're with people that you don't really resonate with, mostly negative people. So it shows you just in that moment. Our entire body is a chemical reaction. So like if you look at our body, they did a split personality disorders. They took 10 people with split personality disorder that suffered with the disease, and they showed that effect. They thought in 1 second, like one person had cancer, and when they split into their second version of whoever they were, they didn't have anything. They actually ran that. So like we do, as humans, we do have the power to energetically change the entire body. Now you can imagine how profound programming is now onto us, separating us.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah.
That's heavy. To your point about brotherhood, because I love this topic of conversation. It's near and dear to my heart. If you were to cultivate a brotherhood, and you were looking for brothers, and you were looking to develop a specific kind of brotherhood, what would the criteria be? What would it look like? Who would you want to have join this said brotherhood? And maybe perhaps let's throw a name to this brotherhood and let's see what we can get out
So
of it.
I've got a relevant story to this exact question because it's very apt to what I know, what you're asking, and that is I intentionally went. So my wife and I thought we were moving to the UK, so we went to go spend 3 months there, and we decided not to. But anyway, when I went to the UK, I looked there and I was looking online, and I said, who is another man in the country that is surrounded by good people? And I intentionally went out and sourced out Elliot. Green Room. Because I knew that when I saw him with his family and the business he created, I'm like, if I'm going to move to a country, I want to be close to the heart of that type of person. I literally did that 6 months ago. I mean, like, the amount of stuff we've done together now in the last 6 months. So I intentionally seeked proximity, and it works as long as you show up as that honorable man.
Right. So you were your authentic best self, and you went out to search for a guy who aligned with what your thought processes were.
Yeah,
Or how did that-
100%. I didn't expect it just to come in my lap because I know it's a minority, specifically in the UK. Everywhere I went, people are complaining everyone's negative, and I'm like, not everyone is negative. There's no ways.
Statistically impossible.
It's impossible. Like there's still people thriving in the kingdom, and generally I went through. It's a mutual friend of ours. Saw him on social media. Saw a post they did together, and I was like, oh, who's this guy? It's interesting. He wears a good suit. And went onto his page, and the first thing I saw was him and Hoda. And I was like, the kids, family. Like those are my goals. He's also incredibly successful. That's who I want to be around. Reached out straight away, and
And I know, Aaron, you met him through me, right? But you guys actually met before we actually met in person. Why don't you tell me about that interaction? Tell me how that went for you.
Yeah, Elliot, you was local anyway, wasn't you? I think that day we met for lunch. It was a good. Elliot put a rocket up my arse as well. Very inspirational, and it was exactly what you said. There is a lot of negativity in the UK, but for every 100, there's someone that's positive and believes. And there is a lot of opportunity at the minute because a lot of people are miserable, depressed, switched off. So there's a lot of positive to come from that as well. It's good.
Well, from my perspective, I had to see what was under the hood. Right, I saw the Lambo. That is. I saw the firecracker. I saw the engine. I saw the public persona. Right, I saw the one that's out there for everyone to see. But as a banker, I had to do my own due diligence. I had to see if this was actually the real goods or if it was really good Hollywood production. I mean, look, I also met a 6'3" Bulgarian beast that can paint a pretty picture. I mean, he makes me look good, and I don't know how the fuck he does that because goddamn, it takes a lot of effort. But I have to say, I was so pleasantly surprised. No, not surprised. I was so pleasantly refreshed. It was refreshing to actually meet a man that is exactly who he stands, who he portrays is exactly who you're meeting, right? And I'm not throwing roses at you yet. You're a brother now. You're a fucking family member, and I told you already. I'd go to war with you any day of the week and twice on Sunday. It's Sunday today, right?
It's Sunday today.
So,
Yeah.
okay, great. So we're going to war twice today, and rare in today's world do you actually find brothers that are not only like-minded, but are also share the same vision of what life could be, supposed to be, how we educate our children, how we move forward through life, and then you take that you take another step in this process. And then you're working with your brothers, and then you're seeing, fuck. Now we're not one guy fighting the fight. Now we're like 3. Now we're 4, right? And then step by step, you're cultivating that group, or you're cultivating that room. And the amount of talent that you amass by doing that, the right kind of guys, good hearts, good minds, sharp brains, sharp wit, sharply dressed. Fuck. That's, this is a whole new crew, a new wave of gentlemen.
Yeah, it's not 1 + 1. It's 1 + equals 2. It's 1 + 1 = 10.
11.
With community.
Well, 11. 11.
Again,
The
the common thing here is purpose, isn't it? Drive. It's not motivation that comes and goes. It's passion and belief.
Yeah, I think yesterday there was a revelation that was made, whether it was intentional or it wasn't intentional. A revelation came to pass about certain future ambitions about
Revelation or an announcement?
I don't think it was an announcement. I think was it an announcement? Did you?
I don't think someone can choose that position.
No.
They have to.
You have to earn it.
Not even that. You have to be given it by the person that you are. I don't think it's something that I'm sure you can sit out there and say, hey, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. But it comes through action, not by words. So it is very rare to find brothers, but what you tend to find is when you find them, there is an anchoring leader who is more outwardly spoken and pushing the narrative, even at the expense of his safety, his reputation, and being completely unapologetically authentic, such that people that align with that will follow behind because they feel secure and safe that that person is going to continually show up. And that's the one thing I can promise, is that I'm a fucking steam train. It's very hard to stop me. So, like I said, whether or not you can choose that role, I will continue on the path I'm on. I won't stop. And if people want to follow that, then I would love for them, providing they are cut from the same cloth.
It's infectious.
To be behind.
Yeah, it's infectious.
And it's, I had this very, very real image in my head for a long time that by the end of the empire building, we sat around a very big circle table because I think it's important to be, everyone's equal in their role. You might have a face of a leader, but everyone within the constructs of that brotherhood has just as important role to play for the end goal that they all want. And there is a lack of ego and narcissism allowing each person to foresee their roles and let other people do their job without trying to suck from one another, understanding that the net benefit for all is better than them trying to do it on their own. And we'll be sat around that table and we'll be feasting together, and not some crazy king at the end of a banquet table on his own with his staff around him, miserable because he's lonely. That's no life. You'll be sitting there talking about the spoils of war and all the things that you did, because life is about the journey, not the destination. And if we fully focus on the end goal, we'll miss the beauty that is life. Living isn't the end. Living is the day-to-day and appreciating every single thing that comes with that. The goods, the bads, the brothers, the betrayals. Everything is part of the journey. And if you don't allow yourself to be present enough because you've constantly got your head in the clouds in the future, then you will fail. You've taken for granted the most beautiful gift you ever had, which was your life. So yes, I want to achieve, but I also want to live. And it's just the way I want to live, with the people I want to live with. And by being very outspoken and very authentic, I filter people that I don't want around me and attract and magnetize the people that I do. And that's a powerful thing.
Incredibly powerful. We had the pleasure of having a pretty powerful guy yesterday chat with us. How do you think it went? Gary, as an outsider, you weren't in that conversation, but how do you think it went, and how do you? Because we lived it, but
I always determine how well something goes by how engaging it is. Engaging for me is like, is it real? Is it authentic? And is there value? I think it's always difficult. Not always. It's often difficult. So I'm going to be specific with my language here. Often difficult to be able to create engaging conversations when there's two powerful people with potentially different visions. But there was this like almost very powerful exponential effect that happened in that conversation, where it was like two visions coming together, and both men had the same path. If that makes sense.
yeah,
And it was watching the realization on both their faces as they spoke to each other that, hey, we've got the same.
yeah. I think the realization factor came more from one side than the other side. I think to be fair, I think that you knew going in you were going to have that result. We were going to be engaging at that level, and the realization part happened when, like, all of a sudden you saw like the shields come down. There's no more adversary here. This is like there's common ground. There is a sharing of intellect. There's a sharing of process. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, 100%.
What do you think the takeaway was, or what was your takeaway? Because you can't speak for somebody else, but what was your takeaway from how that went and how smooth it went? I knew enough just to stay the fuck out of it because it was just incredible to watch. But what was your takeaway?
If you've managed to unshackle yourself from the opinions of others and you're proud of who you are as a man, when you're having a conversation, regardless of who it's with, and you deliver your message and what you believe in, if it happens to be with someone who's on the same path and same vision as you, you're likely to find another brother.
100%.
If it's not, then you're likely to filter that person out, and that's great. But I think that was just two people not being scared of who they are and what they stand for, being honest about that and finding common ground and potentially quite a fruitful long-term relationship.
Amen. Hear to that. I think we have that. I think you see it. That's awesome, man. What an awesome experience. I mean, that was like I was still buzzing about it last night. Could barely sleep. I needed an extra whiskey just to turn off my brain. But you didn't join us for those because you know what? We know who the fucking real two fucking cowboys are.
Yeah, it's great. It's I want to compliment you on something. It's very few people that have the endurance and the ability to be so authentic that brothers from very different worlds will trust you. You've almost become the glue or the
Conduit, right?
the conduit between so many different worlds. And I've seen it happen in lifetime now. It's like you go to Bulgaria, like you are relentless with just being there for brothers. You fly to Bulgaria, then you fly here, and then
You haven't come to the UK yet.
Oh, I've been there many times. I just haven't been there to see you guys yet. That's coming.
but it's a
When
great
are
thing
we
to see.
flying? Oh, the 25th, yeah? We're flying. We're going to go build some more bridges or what? What's the game
looks that
plan
way.
next week?
It looks that way.
Gonna get onto horse and
That's
ride
it.
the horse down Main
That's
Street,
it.
London.
We're both going to be digging. We're both
yeah.
going to be digging. We're both going to be riding. Poor horse. Oh my God, he's going to break that horse's back. Fuck it, whatever. Let's just do it. I love you guys, man. I said it before. I'm going to say it again. You guys are honestly very blessed to be here with you guys again. Like we're gonna change the world. You know that.
Thanks, Alex.
Okay, no comment. Appreciate that. Thanks for leaving me out there. I'm on Gilligan's Island.
I
now.
don't think it needs
Thank you.
any added.
No.
I think it was perfect.
Thanks, brother.
Brother.
Thank you, brother.